Me and my mom, we didn't necessarily get into it, but we had a discussion. Well, I was talking to my girl about it first because we've seen. Have you seen on the news the cop from Richmond, Indiana, that had got killed in a traffic stop?
A younger.
It was a younger lady. Yeah, it was a lady. It was a lady. It was a lady cop. It was like about 2 months ago, a month or a half, 2 months ago. But we was having a conversation, and then we was talking about how I was just like, she was like, she wasn't supposed to go that way. I'm like, but I was like, but you say things are supposed to happen how they supposed to happen. Like, ain't they supposed to? I was like, y'all, and because she's a Christian or whatever, she believes in God. I'm just like, so don't you believe that everything happens how it's supposed to happen? Don't you say he's the author of your life? So if she wasn't supposed to die that way, why did she die that way? And then she was like, I was like, and it was like, because there's no such thing. And then she was like, I was like, that's my free will. I was like, there's no free will. If everything we were going to do, we were going to do anyway.
If you already know.
If we already, and this was I was telling my girl.
People who tell you God already knows.
Yeah, and this is okay. Then I end up running it past my mama because that conversation, me and my girl, and then she ended up bringing it to her grandmother. So her grandmother is a Christian too. Yes. So she was just like, the free will part comes in when the dude shot her. He didn't have to do that. I'm like, but she got the way she died was the way she was going to die. It was her time to die the way that she died.
And they go. That's when they go backwards on stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the free will. All you gotta do is.
And then my mom. Then I ran past my mom. She was just like, "See, no, God gives us a choice, and this and that." I was like, "But
you said He knows. He already knows the outcome."
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't have a choice.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, "There's no such thing as free will." Yeah.
There's no such thing.
I was like, "Look," like I told my mom, I was like, "You can literally put a Coke and a Pepsi in front of you. You're going to choose Coke because that's what you were always going to choose, regardless if you drink Pepsi on a regular. But if you pick Coke that day, that's because you were going to pick Coke that day." I was like, "But you talking about free will?" I was like, "But you saying our story is already written or whatever, this, that, and the third."
That doesn't match.
But they was like, that doesn't work. But it's like, no, he gives you options, whatever, and then it's used to choose the good, the way like him or whatever. And I'm like, and he's like talking about she was like, your plan and his plan ain't the same. I was like, okay, but who's to say that though? I was like, how do you know that what I'm doing or the stuff that I'm going through is not the path that I'm not supposed to be on? Who's to say that I'm not supposed to go through and see and do the things that I'm doing? Who's to say that?
Let me tell you what your problem is.
And then y'all talking about the Bible. Y'all go out. The only thing y'all really have to go off of is the Bible. Yeah. But who's to say that's even legit?
But see, the problem, your and my problem is, listen real close. We're thinking.
Yeah.
You hear what I said?
Yeah.
You're supposed to think.
You're not supposed to go. You're not supposed to go past what you don't see.
It tells you. Faith. I'm going to paraphrase it to small man talk. Faith is believing in something you don't see, but I believe it. That's what it is, right? Yeah. There's a verse the Bible says that. I'm saying, say that again. Listen to what I said. Faith is believing in. I believe it, even though I can't see it.
And I told my mom,
so you can't do that. Bottom line, your shit's built on a mountain of bullshit.
I was like, I can't do that. I'm not a blind faith kind of person. Like growing up, this is what you wanted me to learn, but as I got older, wait a minute, like something's not right.
That faith then kept them from dying.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. I was like, you talk about you pray and you get the things you pray for if you truly mean what you pray for.
Black people got slavery.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Slavery. You know what? Like, there's a meme out there, man. It's strong as fuck. You hate everything about the colonizer except his religion. Mm-hmm. That's colonizer religion. Okay. See, you're thinking. Thinking is dangerous. I've been thinking since I was a kid, and they call us rebels. I question authority. Okay, now, man, this shit right here changed the game. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you what it does. People, man, young folks, they ain't got no respect for old folks. And you know what my comeback is? They should. You know why? Because they can see they can see your bullshit. Yeah. And they can research stories and hear all this bullshit.
And there's so much. We have so much information just at the tip of our fingers.
In Philadelphia, some Haitian people, black, me and you. They had a neighborhood. It's a little story too. They had gotten a little radical and stuff, man. They like built a gate around their shit and they had armed guard stuff. Long story short, white people decided they took a helicopter over that motherfucker and dropped a low grade bomb on them and burnt all them niggas up.
Damn,
it's on the computer. Okay, you hear what I said?
Yeah,
the police. Like my cousin say, serve and protect and break a nigga's neck. The police.
All that.
What you know about Tulsa, Oklahoma? Black Wall Street.
Okay, I heard the name. I heard the term. I mean the name.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Black people had it going on. Something happened. There's the story. You do the research. The riots of Tulsa.
Okay.
White folks went off. They've done it on multiple occasions. They go off and just kill everybody, start killing everybody, dropping bombs and shit, and then peep it. After the smoke clears and it makes the news, they pretty much let everybody in the neighborhood know. They let all the black people know. The federal authorities are going to be coming in here and they're going to ask you about the shit that took place. And if you say anything, we're going to kill you. And you know we'll do it because you just seen what we've done. So, just like slavery.
Wow.
Stories are coming out now. It's called karma because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The story's out. Charlie Wilson, Gap Man, his grandmother was
Uncle Charlie, that's my man.
Okay. And they told, some of them told their kids the story. Their fear was so strong. You hear that word, fear? Mm-hmm. The fear was so strong, they didn't even want to tell their kids. It's America, man. Okay, and these same people that do it, believe it or not, they'll have a cross. They think they're doing right because that manuscript that we were just talking about, different people use that to do bad.
Mm-hmm.
Infidels and terms like that. I'm like, listen to your stories. You talk about not killing, but you tell your stories of how your religion got built up, and all your God did was kill babies. Babies. BABIES, babies. Mm-hmm. Killed everything. You know those stories?
Yeah. Yeah. I
sent King Saul into an area and told him to kill everything.
And first,
that motherfucker got some goats and shit.
Like killing their firstborns and shit.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Everybody and everything.
Rape and pillage.
But if you listen, like I said, the people, they can't hear themselves talk. That free will and stuff, I'm like, it amazes me because they've never thought. You gotta think outside the box. If your mama, and she probably did, just like mine, when we're big enough to walk and talk, they drag our ass up into the church. And you start getting that. If they got it, that's what you're gonna get. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful thing. I ain't knocking. I'm not from a negative belief. It's okay. But you get it as a child. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this goes on and on and on and on and on. But like I said, God forbid you have an open thought one day, man, you'll go, wait a minute. The Bible says 2 times that one family populated the whole earth.
Yeah, and I asked my mom about that. And
the first family was a husband and wife and 2 sons. I'm gonna pause for a second.
No.
So you saying the sons was fucking their mama and they would go over to this land, leave some kids here? What are you saying? Are you thinking?
Listen, that's what I was. I was just like, the first man. You talking about the first men? The first humans. He was made out of dirt. She was made out of his rib.
Out of his rib, right?
I'm asking my mama that, and I'm not gonna say my mama told me this, but I heard. I'm not gonna put because I'm not like I said. I'm not gonna put that in my mama, but I heard somebody say like they wasn't the only people though.
Now, that's thinking. Okay,
yeah.
See, that's thinking because that makes sense.
That would make more sense.
Guess what? Most people can't see it that way. But concept
of
world flood
is
the most impossible idea.
But listen, what's so crazy about that as well is even the people who actually try to think about it out the gate. As soon as you hear they was the first 2, and then they had 2 sons. But how did the rest of the people get here? And then you get to thinking like
you're thinking.
Whoa!
You start thinking.
That's incest.
Okay, and then just think, dig. Let me tell you a karma story that might be possible. Just think about this for a second. You know, the Jews, a lot of blacks and Farrakhan them talk about that. The Jews are responsible for part of that story. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
You understand that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. You ever notice how much hell they've caught throughout history? Every so many years they catch hell. You ever notice? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's your karma for creating such a pack of bullshit. Right? You created. Are you telling the truth? You just told me twice. Now, the second time, you said the whole earth flooded. Okay, and what you telling me is that some penguins from Antarctica and shit, they had to make their way over to the Middle East to get on the boat. That's what you're telling me. Pandas from China, because you said every animal to account. You know how many animals it is?
A lot.
And not enough to put on your little boat because you give me the dimensions. That's thinking. Then you understand that the earth the way it is, and you tell me about this rainstorm. Then once again, they came out. They was the only ones alive, and they refucked the earth full of people. I'm like, but you ain't supposed to question it. I have faith.
Man, right.
Okay, now when you start thinking, here's where the problem lies, and I'm an old fucker. You're going to get there if you ain't careful. it'll get to the point, man, they'll start sounding crazy to you. Because the more thinking you do, but you have to find within yourself some spirituality of some sort. We understand there's right and there's wrong.
Right.
Okay. The first people that lived in this country, the Indians, the original people, people have had spirituality before they had religion. They believe that with inside of each person, good and evil is. And whichever one you serve. And evil fighting for yourself.
Facts.
Whichever one you feed is going to be the strong one.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. If you choose a life of crime or whatever, where you're hurting people, you're feeding the bad one, and it gets good to you. Mike Tyson has stories like that. You can't quit; it just gets good to you.
Yeah.
You're feeding the wrong spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But they have to, for some reason, they have to turn it into humanizing. The way you describe God, he's a fleshly being, flesh, man made in his image. But heaven's up here somewhere, right?
Right.
This is the earth. We're made from dirt. You telling me there's dirt?
It look like dirt up there?
Keep it listening. Yeah. Okay. Then you tell stories to play with people's head. You shouldn't desire money. But if I keep listening to me, you'll tell me that the streets of heaven are paved with gold. And I'm like, time out. Why are you referencing something that's valuable to humans, us here, and associating it with that? Why are you telling me that there's another Earth ore? Scientists know, like, they'll check meteorites stuff. You're telling me there's another part of Earth up here. See, this just thinking, it just doesn't make sense. And if you just start thinking, but then it gets deeper. My wife showed me a video, man, about the pictures of Jesus, where they come from, and the story. And if you hear the story, whether you believe it or not, it'll make you think, because it's possible. You ever seen Tom Hanks, Jesus' girlfriend? What's the name of that movie?
I don't know.
Da Vinci Code.
Oh, okay.
You seen it?
I haven't watched it like in this entirety.
It's deep, man.
In its entirety.
It basically boils down to part of the root of the story is that Jesus, you're Mary Magdalene, you're contemporary. That was his mom, and they had a child together. Blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Catholic Church has to make that story not be, you can't tell that story.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, what ties that in is that Catholic Church is the originator of all religion. For real. Okay. So the Bibles and all this stuff is all tied to them.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
So they had a council to decide what we're going to put in and what we're not going to put in. I said they, I mean us. But you're telling me about supernatural beings. What the fuck you got to do with it? Interpretations, words, all this stuff. And then the next thing you know, what it boils down to, man, they're holding a magnifying glass and they're looking at you. Your mom, you told me your mama, she's a Christian soldier.
She's a first lady. My stepdaddy is a pastor.
And correct me if I'm wrong, she probably loses sleep at night worried about you.
Maybe sometimes, yeah. But not necessarily.
But for the wrong reason.
I'm going to say not necessarily.
Your soul.
She knows I'm going to be me, though.
But
she knows,
it ain't like what I'm saying. I mean, your soul. Like, she don't want you in there.
She tells me I should go back, but she knows. But like I said, when I was down there, I was just down there like September, and I had first week in September, and
your brother's still in the war?
My brother is in the Air Force. Yeah. He's in Japan right now.
Okay, he made a career out of that.
Yeah, he been in for like 6 years now.
All right.
But so I talked to her, and when I was down there, I'm just like, look, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I don't believe in God, but I'm not saying that I know there's a higher power, but I'm not going to call this higher power God. I'm not going to say he or she. I'm going to say they, because I don't know what it is. Because there's no way we can just be here. Yeah. There's no way we just appeared on this earth.
You don't understand is better than
you know what I mean?
Saying that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But I do understand that there's something is better than what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because at the end of yours, what you're telling me, if I don't listen to your story, I'm gonna be dancing in the fire.
No, listen. And then it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Man. She was saying like your plan and God's plan is not the same. And then I'm just like, How are you to judge my path, saying that my
how
path?
do you know what his plan?
How do you know my path is not the path that he put me on, quote unquote?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You said that his plan is not my plan, but how you know this is not the plan that he put in motion for me?
The stories don't make no sense. Like free will is that game they play with free will. What do you know about the 144,000?
I've heard that before, but I can't remember what it was.
I've heard so much, man. You gotta understand the faith that we grew up in. It borders on cultish religion.
Yeah.
When your religion, whether it be Scientology, certain Seventh-day Adventist, if there's a founder and there's a picture of a person, and most of the time it's gonna be a white person.
Yes.
We're gonna pause and let that set in for a minute.
For sure.
I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. To me, what self-respecting black person knows the history of black people is going to follow some white American to listen to anything they say. But you know, there's stories about it. You ever seen? I know you have, because you silly like me. You know who Catcher Freeman is, right?
Yeah. Boondocks.
What's his name? The house.
Oh yeah.
They exist.
What's his name?
Tobias.
No.
Tobias.
Oh man,
that's
don't trust those
episodes.
new niggas over there.
Uncle
Ruckus.
The way they telling them stories, man, each version was just hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially the ones where they was pretty much giving Master a hard time. You know, it was Deanda who?
You got smarter?
Oh yeah. See, Wanda. I got a.
I'm gonna say,
we got
water.
our
Oh yeah,
system,
no, I ain't
man.
tripping. That's cool.
You for a little lady?
Huh?
You want some water? You want some? You want some? You want some water?
Yeah.
You see what I got here to drink. You know, I got some shit. You got shit over the adult beverages.
What you got? I go do that crazy, but you know. Hold on.